What if I told you that some of the habits pushing people away in old age have nothing to do with personality and everything to do with small changes no one ever talks about? Not your family, not your friends, not even your doctor. Things like the way we smell, the way we talk, the stories we repeat, or the energy we bring into a room can shift so gradually that we don't notice, but everyone else does. And because people are too polite to say it, distance quietly grows where closeness used to be. Today we're breaking that silence, because a few simple adjustments can protect your dignity, your relationships, and your independence more than you might think. One of the biggest myths about getting older is that people drift away just because of age. But most of the time, it's not age itself creating distance. It's small habits that quietly change over the years without us noticing. Our senses shift, our routines get looser, and things that used to feel automatic start needing more attention. Body chemistry changes, skin produces different oils, and even clean clothes can hold on to odors longer than they used to. The tricky part is that we often can't smell ourselves the way others do, so while we feel normal, the people around us may be picking up on something that makes them subtly step back. It's an awkward topic, which is exactly why no one brings it up, and silence allows the problem to grow. The same thing happens with grooming. Eyebrows get bushier, ear and nose hair grow faster, nails thicken, heels dry out, and clothes that once fit well slowly become stretched, stained, or outdated. None of this means someone has let themselves go on purpose. It usually just means no one told them their maintenance needs have changed. The powerful part is that these are some of the most fixable issues in the world. A slightly more frequent laundry routine, better ventilation at home, breathable fabrics, daily moisturizing, and switching to gentler but effective soaps can completely change how fresh someone feels walking into a room. Regular haircuts, trimming stray hairs, keeping facial hair neat, and replacing worn-out shoes or sweaters doesn't require a makeover, just upkeep. And upkeep sends a message, both to yourself and to others, that you still value your presence. That message is felt instantly, even if no one says it out loud. When you feel clean, put together, and comfortable in your own skin, your posture changes, your eye contact improves, and you engage more easily instead of worrying about how you're coming across. People respond to that energy. They lean in instead of leaning away. They stay longer in conversation. They hug you without hesitation. These reactions aren't about vanity, they're about sensory comfort and social signals that say I'm aware, I'm present, and I care about how I show up. Aging with dignity isn't about looking younger. It's about staying attentive to the small daily habits that keep you feeling human, connected, and confident in shared spaces, because when those habits slip quietly into the background, relationships can start slipping too, not from lack of love, but from small discomforts that build over time until visits get shorter, calls get less frequent, and nobody can quite explain why things feel different, even though the fix was always something simple, practical, and completely within reach if someone had just said it out loud. One of the fastest ways conversations start to feel heavy in later years is when health becomes the main topic every single time you talk to someone. It makes sense how this happens, because as we age, doctor visits increase, new aches show up, medications change, and the body demands more attention than it used to. Health becomes a bigger part of daily life, so naturally it spills into conversation. The problem is not talking about it at all, because support and understanding absolutely matter. The problem is when it becomes the only lens through which people experience you. When every call, visit, or meal turns into a detailed rundown of symptoms, test results, and worst-case scenarios, the emotional tone of the relationship slowly shifts. People start to brace themselves before they pick up the phone, not because they don't care, but because they know they're about to carry emotional weight they may not have the energy to hold that day. Over time, this dynamic can make loved ones feel helpless too. They can't fix most medical issues, so repeated conversations about them can leave them feeling guilty, frustrated, or inadequate. Instead of connection, the interaction becomes associated with stress. That's when visits get postponed and calls get shorter, and it can feel deeply confusing and hurtful from the older person's side. It may seem like others have stopped caring, when in reality they just don't know how to stay emotionally balanced in conversations that feel consistently heavy. Balance is what keeps relationships breathable. Sharing important updates about your health is part of real life, and the people who love you do want to know what's going on. But after you share the essentials, shifting toward other parts of your identity reminds everyone, including you, that you are more than a list of medical conditions. Talking about a memory that made you laugh, a show you're enjoying, something interesting you read, a hobby you've picked up, or even a random thought about how the world is changing keeps your personality in the room, not just your problem. This doesn't mean pretending everything is fine or hiding struggles. It means not letting health challenges take over your entire social identity. When conversations include curiosity, humor, opinions, and everyday observations, people feel lighter and more connected. They leave feeling like they spent time with you, not just with your illnesses. That emotional experience is what makes them want to come back again and again because connection feels energizing. Instead of draining, supportive instead of heavy, and mutual instead of one-sided, which protects both your relationships and your sense of self as a whole person with stories, thoughts, and interests that still deserve space at the table. Even as your body asks for more attention than it once did, a lot of social discomfort in later years doesn't come from big personality changes, it comes from small shifts in awareness that happen. So gradually no one notices at first. Hearing may decline, vision may blur, balance may feel less steady, and reaction time can slow. And all of these physical changes affect how someone moves and interacts in social space. An older adult might lean in very close to hear better, speak much louder than they realize, or touch someone's arm repeatedly while talking for stability or emphasis. From their perspective, they're just trying to connect. From the other person's perspective, it can feel overwhelming, intrusive, or oddly intense, even though there is no bad intention behind it. Because it feels awkward to point out, most people stay quiet. And that silence creates distance instead of understanding. Tone of voice is another piece that often shifts without awareness. When hearing declines, people can't accurately judge how loud they are, and speech may come out sharper or more forceful than intended. Add in frustration from not hearing clearly, and conversations can start to sound argumentative even when they aren't. Family members may begin to feel like they're being scolded or corrected, when in reality the speaker is just trying to be heard. Something as simple as a hearing test, properly adjusted hearing aids, or reducing background noise like television during conversations can completely change how someone's presence feels in a room. It lowers tension instantly. Then there's the habit of repeating stories or questions. Memory changes can make certain moments feel new every time they're recalled, while recent conversations slip away more easily. The storyteller feels engaged and connected, but the listener may feel stuck pretending to hear it for the first time again and again. Over time, that can make interactions feel one-sided. A gentle awareness strategy like pausing to ask, "Did I already tell you this?" shows respect for the other person's experience and keeps conversations feeling more mutual. Inviting others to share their updates and truly listening helps rebalance the exchange, so it doesn't feel like a monologue. Unsolicited advice also falls into this category of social awareness. Life experience brings valuable lessons, but when every story someone shares is met with correction, warnings, or instructions, they may stop opening up. They don't want to feel judged or managed. Asking whether someone wants advice or just a listening ear changes the emotional tone immediately. It shows emotional intelligence and makes others feel safe sharing their lives. All of these behaviors come from normal aging changes, not from becoming inconsiderate. The key is recognizing that the impact of our behavior can be different from our intention. A little mindfulness about personal space, volume, touch, listening, and conversational balance helps others relax around you. When people feel physically and emotionally comfortable, connection flows more naturally, visits last longer, and relationships stay warm instead of slowly cooling due to small discomforts. No one felt brave enough to explain, which means social awareness becomes one of the most powerful tools for staying close to the people who matter most, and of the biggest factors that determines whether someone stays socially active and independent in later years isn't luck. It's daily physical habits that either maintain function or slowly let it decline. The body naturally loses muscle mass, joint mobility, and balance with age, but the speed of that decline is heavily influenced by how much we move. When movement becomes minimal, simple social activities start to feel like major physical challenges. Walking from the parking lot, climbing a few stairs, standing at a gathering, or getting in and out of chairs can become exhausting. Heavy breathing, unsteadiness, or needing constant physical assistance can make outings feel stressful, not just for the person experiencing it, but for everyone around them who may worry about safety. Over time, invitations may quietly decrease, not out of exclusion, but out of concern that the event will be too physically demanding. The good news is that maintaining functional fitness doesn't require intense workouts or gym memberships. What matters most is consistency and simple, joint-friendly movement. Daily walks, even short ones, help maintain cardiovascular health, leg strength, and endurance. Light strength exercises using body weight or resistance bands help preserve muscle that supports posture and makes everyday tasks easier. Balance exercises, like standing on one foot near a support surface or practicing slow, controlled movements, reduce fall risk and build confidence when moving through crowded or unfamiliar environments. Gentle stretching keeps joints more comfortable and improves how freely you can turn, reach, and bend during normal social interactions. When the body feels more capable, social life feels less intimidating. You're more likely to say yes to outings because you trust your ability to keep up without feeling embarrassed or exhausted. That confidence changes your energy in social settings. Instead of focusing on where you can sit or how soon you can leave, you can stay present in conversations and enjoy the experience. Physical independence also protects dignity. Being able to carry your own plate, get in and out of a car smoothly, or walk at a steady pace with others preserves a sense of equality in social situations. There's also a mental and emotional component to movement. Regular physical activity boosts mood, improves sleep, and sharpens mental clarity, all of which affect how you show up socially. When you feel better physically, you tend to be more patient, more engaged, and more positive in interactions. That makes your presence feel lighter and more enjoyable to others. Letting fitness slide doesn't happen overnight, and rebuilding it doesn't either, but small efforts done daily create powerful long-term effects. The goal isn't to train like an athlete. It's to keep your body reliable, enough that it supports your lifestyle instead of limiting it. When your strength, balance, and stamina are maintained, social time becomes about connection and enjoyment rather than physical strain, which helps you stay included, confident, and comfortably involved in the moments that make life feel full, instead of gradually shrinking your world to match a body that simply needed a little more consistent care to keep doing the things you love. One of the most important mindset shifts around aging is understanding that these habits aren't character flaws. They're usually the result of normal physical, emotional, and lifestyle changes that happen gradually over time. Smell sensitivity decreases, energy fluctuates, social circles shrink, mobility changes, and routines that once felt easy start requiring more effort. None of that means a person has stopped caring or lost their value. It means their needs have changed, and sometimes no one has helped them adjust to those changes in a practical, respectful way. When people frame these issues as personal failures, shame creeps in, and shame is what really causes withdrawal and isolation. Dignity comes from awareness, not perfection. It's about staying gently tuned in to how you're experiencing the world, and how the world might be experiencing you. That awareness allows you to make small adjustments that protect your confidence and your relationships at the same time. Choosing to freshen up before a visit, keeping clothes clean and comfortable, staying engaged in conversation beyond health concerns, or making the effort to move your body a little each day are not acts of vanity or denial about aging. They are acts of self-respect. They say, I still matter, and the people around me matter too. What makes this stage of life tricky is that many people hesitate to talk about these things. Adult children don't want to offend their parents. Friends feel it's not their place. Caregivers may focus on medical needs and skip social comfort. So habits that are completely fixable go unaddressed, and the older adult may have no idea why visits feel shorter or why invitations happen less often. When awareness replaces silence, change becomes possible without embarrassment. A simple shift in routine can reopen doors that felt like they were quietly closing. It's also important to recognize how empowering it is to focus on what you can still influence. Aging naturally brings some losses, but not everything is out of your control. Hygiene, grooming, tone of conversation, openness to learning, and basic physical movement are all areas where small, consistent actions create noticeable differences. Each one reinforces a sense of capability instead of decline. That feeling of capability shows up in posture, eye contact, and willingness to participate, which makes social interactions warmer and more balanced. Respect flows both ways in relationships. When you show care in how you present yourself and how you engage with others, people feel comfortable, and comfort is what allows closeness to grow. They don't feel pressured, drained, or unsure how to respond. They simply feel at ease being around you. That ease is the foundation of connection at any age. No one expects perfection, youthfulness, or endless energy. What people respond to is effort, awareness, and the sense that you still see yourself as an active participant in life rather than someone who has stepped to the sidelines. That's why this conversation is about dignity instead of blame, about adjustments instead of criticism, and about staying connected instead of slowly drifting apart because of habits that were never pointed out, never explained, and never given the simple, compassionate attention that could have helped someone feel more confident, more welcomed, and more like themselves every time they walked into a room and shared space with the people they love.